Here,
See
probably.
if this thing works. Starting to come around. She updated it upside up and upside down. My style was.
No, and all
I've got it
saved
all
stuff
lined
is
out.
moved. I don't like change.
Don't like change, huh?
Okay, guys, we're live. All right, now call to order the meeting of the Huntingburg Common Council. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father God, thank you for the commitment of these council members and those in the audience today. We ask now, decisions that we make here today may be for all the citizens of Huntingburg. Please guide and direct our thoughts for these things. We ask in your precious son's name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Got first, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right,
Do a roll call.
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
5 ayes.
all right, motion passes. Next, approval of claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
Got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
5 ayes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Right now, we've had some interest in the Sunset property that we own that's just south of our water tower along Sunset Drive. What I'm asking for today is that we'll have to subdivide that as well as provide for utility easements and everything else that have to be there. So asking today if you're interested in getting rid of the property, that I could seek both appraisals and contract for a survey to have that broken up. Now, the minimum development right now in that area, we would have to do like a 2-acre lot to meet the minimum development standards without a variance. So there's room there to do it. There's a couple things we have to check. Of course, with the, we also have to check with IDEM because it does sit at the base of our water tower. So
How many
that's
acres are
another
there
step.
total now?
There's how many acres?
Mhm.
I don't know exactly. The bottom half that's fairly flat, that's buildable, is just right around 2 acres.
I'm guessing about 6, 7 acres.
At least, I think.
Because then you get a steeper hill and more trees and it's not really buildable.
Yeah.
And we do have to keep a buffer zone near the water tower, and I'm not sure exactly what that is, so. And we have an electric line,
I'm sure.
gas line, water line running through there, we have to stay off of, so.
Since this is a property that's not in an economic development area, we will have to open it up to the general public for bids if it does sell. In general, how that happens is after either the Board of Public Works or the council holds a public hearing on a proposed sale, then there's a period of time where bidding is opened. It can be up to 60 days. And so people who are interested submit a bid. And anybody that submits a bid is given notice of another bid, a subsequent bid, and you can increase your bids until final day. And whoever the last standing bidder is the highest bidder, is the winner. That's a little bit different than what we've done on our other properties. The other properties that we've sold along Veterans Parkway, those are in an economic development area. And those can be sold without public bidding. They just have to be sold for at least the average of 2 appraisals. So long as the proposed use is consistent with the development plan. And as you know, those intended uses for those properties are consistent. But this is outside of economic development area, and that's why we have to follow the little bit more lengthy process.
Seems like a fair way to do it, though.
Yes.
The reason.
I don't foresee any need to keep it, and we know we'll get some tax dollars off the property if we can.
Yeah. The only reason I was asking about how much other properties there is that if you survey 2 acres and that's the only desirable part of that 6 or 7 acres, then it would leave the rest of the acreage really with little to no value. But if we need to keep a buffer there anyway, and maybe we wanna retain that, but allow some type of development to take place on that is developable, then I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, we have some utilities that do run kind of between the water tower and there. Some run north and south. There is electric that runs east-west and a gas line at the bottom that runs east-west. Cause it kind of comes down, makes a turn. And then we'll need to find out what the buffer zone is, but
One we can
kind of
maintain
looking at it roughly, doing it on GIS, it came out when I did the area measurement, it came out to 1.99 acres when I tried to skirt all those utilities without
Yeah.
being on top of moving poles or anything else. So it's gonna be real close to 2.
and we retain our easement, Bill, if we sell it. Just-
Yeah, we could sell it subject to the easements that are, utility easements that are there.
The property could be, I mean, the easements could be in the property we sell. We
Sure.
just have
We
retain,
don't-
we just
we-
retain the right to
We
cross
don't
it.
have to own the easement.
Just have to
actually
have
own
it.
the easement. We just have to, the underlying land in the easement. We just have to have an easement. So we could sell the property subject to gas, water, electric, sewer easements or whatever are there. And the developer would be unable to build on those easements.
If we, because they run along the edge of the property, setbacks would make those buildable anyway, so those would basically be in their, easements would be in their setbacks that they're not gonna be able to develop on, so it wouldn't be a hindrance to anybody buying the property.
What maintenance do we do on it now? We just
Well,
mow it, and that gets mowed every couple of weeks probably, or
Every
once a
week,
maybe?
every week, yeah.
Okay.
And trimming around the trees and it is,
If we sold that 2 acres, the rest of the property, is it wooded or would it still
it's a
require
mix.
maintenance?
It's not heavy wooded. The
still-
property next to it is, but there are trees above it, but.
It's brush,
Yeah.
Mason.
But I guess would it be getting rid of that we have to mow every week, or would there still be some maintenance required?
Still
on-
be maintenance, cause, it's clear, of course, around the water tower, so they have to go up there and mow around it anyway, so. They'll still be there every week doing that, just, they'll be there half the time that they are now.
When we put a property up for sale such as this one, can we, like, I think you might have an idea of what the initial interest in the property was, but if somebody else came in and outbid all the other bidders and wanted to put a data center on a piece of property like that, or wanted to put a strip club or something on it, what would our rights be to restrict the use of that property if somebody did come in and outbid everybody else? And-
Right now, it is agriculture, so it would be anything that's allowable under the agriculture area. There are some areas that are, areas of that, that allow for certain appeals of variance, so. BZA.
So
I mean,
person that buys it
allowable
would-
uses right now are gonna be vet clinic, it could be a lot of things, but you actually can put a mausoleum on there, you know?
Yeah.
There's a few other things that are allowed under the agricultural usage.
I think we're trying to,
It will be a data center because it's only 2 acres. They
Yeah.
need 400 to 600
Well,
acres.
yeah, I'm just thinking of the extremes, you know, that there are probably some things that we don't want there, right across from a school and next
Yeah.
to a cemetery.
Yeah,
Um,
the things that are there now, it shows veterinarian clinics, a small horse farm, which that's not big enough to put horses on.
It's
Uh,
also
Not
inside the
enough
city, so
grazing
that
area
way,
there. There's,
yeah.
they couldn't.
So you're. but
It's
I
not
think-
enough room for that, and most of, it's pretty limited as to what can go there.
Okay. And then if you're suggesting, I think that if somebody bought it, would they have to come, would their purchase be subject to a variance or a rezoning? If they wanted to put something else in there that wasn't already allowable? Is that what you're saying? That's where our restriction would
Well, they
be
would,
applied?
could do two ways. They could sell it, we could sell it as is, and it'd be up to them if they bought it, up to them to have it rezoned and go before the Board of Zoning Appeals to have it rezoned. Or we could, if we know there's an interest, we could rezone it ourselves. If we know there's a particular interest that we would like to see there, we could rezone it before we sell it. I think typically what happens is we sell it subject to existing zoning and the buyer has to rezone. If the use they intend is not allowed.
It would be,
I mean, I think the parties that have indicated an interest in the property would, it's consistent use with the area.
It's consistent use, low traffic, and those type of things, so.
By the way, that acreage is, it looks like it's a little bit over 6 acres. 6.18 acres.
About right.
The total lot.
Okay.
I don't see a problem with allowing the mayor to seek appraisal and survey for that property. I mean, that's step one in exploring whether or not, it's viable to sell.
You do
Okay.
two appraisals too?
2 appraisals, and then, when we, accept bids or we advertise for bids, we can place a reserve on it, no bids under a certain amount will be considered, so that.
Yeah.
We recover our costs,
Appraisals.
and the value.
Right. I mean, then we have, if nothing else, we have a product at some point to be sold, you know? Do you need a motion to make this go here? Is that what you need?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Where?
Aye.
Where?
I think he's
His lips
muted.
moved.
Aye.
Aye.
Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we can.
It's buffering.
Buffalo, okay, sorry.
All right, thank you. We'll get working on that tomorrow. And just rest assured, the probably, it's not a real attractive location for a lot of people right now because of the school and road, but the interested party, it'd be a good fit.
Okay.
Be a good fit. It wouldn't interfere with school traffic and those type of things, so.
I agree.
Okay, next up, City Attorney Phil Schneider.
Yes, in 2023, the council adopted an ordinance creating a designated outdoor refreshment area in the downtown area where alcoholic beverages that are purchased in that area can be consumed outside the retail establishment where they were purchased. And all of the retailers who are permitted to sell alcohol in that area have applied for and been granted a designation, an approved designation to participate in that. And there is a new application for a new retailer. The name of the business is 4 on 4th Street LLC. It is a virtual, I think it's a virtual golf driving facility. And they have obtained and hold a alcoholic beverage permit for this retail sale of beer and wine and would like to be included as a DORA, designated DORA permittee. And our ordinance simply says that if additional permittees want to be included, they will be approved. They have to be approved by a resolution of the Common Council. So you have before you a resolution if you choose to approve 4 on 4th Street LLC as a designated DORA permittee.
I think that's a great addition to the downtown and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I would make that motion.
Get a number?
The resolution will be number 2026-22.
I'll second that.
Who did the first?
Jeff.
I did.
Jeff. So we have first and second on resolution number 2026-22. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Where?
Aye.
5 ayes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Bill, I have a simple question for you regarding that issue, that if, we've got existing boundaries with where the door that has been approved. If you had another business or entity that wanted to have the boundary expanded to include them when they're not included now? What would need to happen to expand the boundary to
Well,
include?
yeah, it could be done. We'd have to amend our ordinance to increase the boundary, to describe the boundary, and then apply to the alcoholic beverage, the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission for approval of that expanded, area. They generally have an excise officer come down to look at the area to make sure it's consistent and it's not, going to be in residential, not heavily in a residential district. There aren't churches that would be affected or schools, but that can be done.
Okay,
If I'm not mistaken, you can't include residences in it.
I'm gonna just pass that along. That's the resolution.
Just have to be a jet out.
Can end up
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Okay.
That's a good sign. We have
Thank
more
you.
establishments asking for these things.
We'll have to go east, not west. All right.
That's it. Now, Amy, after you or Tom do your magic, just give me a copy if you would.
Your magic.
Okay, and we have a 5.2 on here.
Yeah, the next item, under my, agenda there is a proposed ordinance. It's a bond ordinance to authorizing the city to issue, taxable economic development bonds, for the OFS project. OFS Brands Holdings has been working with the Redevelopment Commission and the Economic Development Commission to develop financing for an economic development project in the Industrial Park West EDA. The project would include a significant manufacturing building expansion, I think it's about 180,000 square feet total, and the acquisition and installation of a significant amount of manufacturing and processing equipment that will create 20 new full-time jobs with an estimated annual payroll of about $1.5 million. OFS will be making about a $14 million investment in plant and equipment in this project area. It's located, as you might know, at the northeast corner of West 19th Street. I guess it'd be southeast corner of 19th Street and County Road 400 West. OFS is requesting that the city issue up to $4.5 million in taxable economic development bonds to apply to the project. Remember, they're going to be investing about $14 million, and of that, they would like to have taxable economic development bonds issued to apply to the cost of the project. Earlier this year, the Redevelopment Commission created a new allocation area in that economic development area called I think it's called the 2026 OFS allocation area. And it just includes the property that's affected by this project. And the Development Commission is also authorized, subject to your approval, pledging 90% of the TIF revenue from this new project toward the repayment of these bonds if they're authorized. So the TIF revenue would be tax revenue that's collected on any increased assessed valuation as a result of this project. And 90% of that would be used to pay the debt service on these bonds that are going to be issued. No other city funds have been pledged or will be obligated to this, and all the expenses of issuance of these bonds are being paid by OFS. In fact, OFS will be the purchaser of the bonds. So if the TIF revenue, if there's a shortfall of TIF revenue, OFS will have to make up the difference, or they'll just lose that payment, that bond payment. The Economic Development Commission conducted a public hearing yesterday at which it took an opportunity for a public comment. There were no adverse testimony that would remonstrate against the issuance of the bonds. And they ultimately adopted a resolution. I think you have a copy of it in your board pack, recommending the approval of the issuance of the bonds, and also approving the various financing documents that go with it. So you have before you a proposed bond ordinance that would authorize the issuance up to $4.5 million of taxable economic development bonds and the pledge of 90% of that TIF revenue from that district toward the debt service on those bonds. It also approves the financing documents that are necessary to accomplish this. The city's financial advisor, Crow, has determined that in actuality, the TIF revenue will support about a $3.99 million bond issue, and that's what's anticipated to be issued. So tonight, if you approve, would like to recommend that you introduce the bond ordinance before you and then carry it over for final adoption or consideration of final adoption on July 28th. Perhaps people want to study it and have comment. That would give anybody an opportunity.
We're not including the ones on the west side of 400, just the ones on the east.
This is, yeah, I believe there may be a new project on the west side, but that's not included. This is all on the east side of 400 west on that
Corner.
southeast.
Yeah.
There's two projects out there.
Yeah, that's one.
There's
that's
just
why
the
I'm
one
asking.
though.
And oh, by the way, this would be a 25-year bond issue, and at the end of the 25 years, the TIF revenue reverts back to all the taxing authorities. But until then, 90% of it would be allocated to paying principal and interest on the bonds. The other 10%, the city would reserve in order to cover costs and expenses that might be incurred in that area, maybe road improvements and other administrative costs.
So you need us to make a motion to. approve.
Motion to introduce a number, I guess it'd be 2623?
Yes.
2026.
So
Yes.
moved.
And then we have to set a meeting.
Would just take it up at your next meeting if
I'll make
it's
a,
introduced.
I'll make a motion to introduce 2623.
I'll second.
At first, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Motion carries. Now we'll need a set date,
No,
2028.
no, we'll just consider final adoption at your
Okay.
next meeting. It doesn't
Okay.
need to be a public hearing, it's just a public meeting, and that's already scheduled. as a public meeting.
Okay.
So it's introduced and you'll consider final adoption on the 28th.
Amy, you got, Step and Tom, Clerk Treasurer, public hearing for additional appropriation.
I'll let Phil. The ordinance was
Yes,
introduced.
At our last meeting, you introduced an ordinance for additional appropriations. I'm sorry, I don't have the ordinance in front of me.
I have it.
had it on board back here, but
Yeah.
but it was an ordinance to appropriate funds from various funds to cover the costs of the Fourth Street renovation project.
They had it spelled out, different funds.
And yeah, and so let me.
Rainy day and casino and.
Do you have that, Andy? I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
didn't bring it. So in order to approve the additional appropriations, the council has to conduct a public hearing, and today was the date advertised for notice of a public hearing on the proposed additional appropriation of $390,000 from the local road and street fund and $173,000 from the 400 West TIF Economic Development Area Fund to apply to the cost of the Fourth Street renovation project. And so you would open a hearing for public comment, take public comment, and then close the hearing.
Public?
Well, nobody coming forward. We'll take a motion to close the hearing.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Ware.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bound.
Aye.
Kissling. 5
Look
ayes.
at you.
Choose you.
Went backwards, sorry.
Yeah.
She's messing with us.
I know, I went in the
I
wrong
know.
order.
Look at how.
To think about that
There you
one.
go, Tim. Way to be on your toes.
You may now consider the final adoption of ordinance number 2026-21 and an ordinance ordinance approving additional appropriations for the 2026 budget year, the amounts that I just described.
Make that motion to adopt.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Kissing,
Aye.
Bounds,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
five ayes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. There will be additional funds put in there such as the endowment from the Stellar to bring it up to the 850. That's with a contingency amount in there. We assume it's gonna be 692 was the estimate, but if we do have that'll appropriate up to 850.
Gotta be able to cover it.
Obviously, we don't need it. We won't utilize all the funds, so.
When will this go out to bid?
Hopefully here in a couple months. Right now, we're meeting with the engineers this week and next week, getting together the bid package and get it out. There will be restrictive times, obviously, with the Christmas strolls and some other things where they can't do it during those periods. Right. Okay. Thank you.
There are a couple other ordinances to consider tonight as well. The city has received some contributions from some private contributions, a number of private contributions for the fitness court project on the Knee House Walking Trail property. And technically, in order to accept those funds, a separate donation fund needs to be created. So you have an ordinance before you, as a resolution. It's an ordinance.
Ordinance,
It's an
yeah.
ordinance creating the special fund to be known as the Fitness Court Project Fund and accepting private donations to that fund.
I'll make the motion.
2026-24.
I'll second it.
I've got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling,
Aye.
Bounds,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
five ayes.
You may suspend the rules and consider adoption of the same meeting it was introduced.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Kissling,
Aye.
Bounds,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
All right, motion
Five ayes.
carries. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept or
To
adopt
adopt.
2026-24.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling,
Aye.
Bounds,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
five ayes.
Thank you. It passes. Thank you.
And then finally, you have a similar ordinance to establish the special fund known as the wastewater mural project fund. Again, the city's already been offered substantial dollars to go toward the painting of a mural on the concrete wall of the new wastewater plant that faces the park. Board of Public Works, of course, would, along with others, would approve the final design. But having these funds, we need to accept them and create a fund in which to place them. Accept private donations and place them in this wastewater mural project fund. And it would- it'd be
Is it gonna be our
ordinance
faces, you
26.
think?
I hope not.
2026.
I said, do you think it'd be our faces, Neil?
the
Like
current
just the
council.
five of us?
2026, 5,
25.
25. excuse
We'll
me.
leave that in the suggestion box if they, whatever they want
Make
to
a
do.
motion to introduce.
I'll second that.
I think there are other places I'd want my face in a wastewater plant.
That's very true. After I said it, I couldn't.
All
I
those
could
in
not.
favor? With
Aye.
some emojis.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Kissling,
Aye.
Bounds,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
five ayes.
All right,
Make a
motion
to
passes.
suspend the
Thank you.
rules and accept the same night introduced.
Second that.
All right, we got a first and second to suspend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling,
Aye.
Bounds,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
five ayes.
Motion passes.
Donate money.
We've got
outside
one
the fund.
substantial donation already, so,
Yes, need adoption.
Adopt.
so
Need a
Motion.
motion to adopt 2026-25. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling,
Aye.
Bounds,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
Five ayes.
All right, they can motion to adopt as passes. Thank you. Got to set budget review dates. I
Yes,
should have got an
for the budget
email
hearings.
today, I think, for the budget hearings.
Oh, boy. They,
Uh,
I'll be available. August 24th will be my first day I'm available. Would
And
anybody else?
typically the times are at 9 AM and 1 PM.
Okay.
It would have come through at about 4 o'clock today, I believe.
The only three that's possible I can make is August 24th, September 2nd, and 4th. That's the days I have probably available. So if that makes a difference or not, if the majority goes with the other routes, it's more of the dates that make the majority that can make we'll go with that.
I could do the 24th. Does that work with everybody? August 24th, Glenn?
It does with me, yeah.
Okay.
I have appointments, but I think I can move them this much notice.
I'm looking. I'm looking. The Friday.
No,
I don't want Friday.
it's a Monday.
It's Monday.
Oh, I'm looking in July. Well, duh.
I was gonna tell you, but then I thought maybe you're scrolling.
I'm trying to get it to do what I want. Yeah, I'll make it work. That's fine.
So, this might not be the best time to bring it up, but there's been some conversation publicly, as I recall, from council members that really appreciate the face-to-face, one-on-one time that we get with the department heads and the people that come in for those budget hearings, but we never seem to have enough time with each of them to ask questions and have the back and forth. And it was suggested that we might go to a day and a half, or maybe that we would start a little earlier, work through lunch, to do something to expand that calendar a little bit. I don't know how the rest of the council feels about it, but I know it makes for somewhat of a long day, but most of us put in that length of a day most days anyway. And so if we were to start that at 8 AM and maybe do 8 to noon and 1 to 5, where we would have a little bit more time per attendee or per superintendent. And maybe there's a few that we would want to maybe customize and put a little bit more time in, because we have a few more questions for one person and a few less for somebody else. How do you all feel about that?
I think we know which ones we have the most discussion with, and we should block them more time.
Mhm. And I think a longer day, it seems like we almost always need that. And really, I think it seems like for lunch, all of us just run someplace anyhow. So maybe if we could just get lunch ordered in or something that day.
Yeah, so if you
those
don't,
Places that we could,
We could easily cut lunch to a half hour if we would place an order and have it delivered, or have somebody go pick
Mhm.
something up and just,
maybe Amy could fix us something, or
yeah.
yeah,
some
Amy, you
spaghetti
could make us
possibly.
sandwiches. That'd be great. Yeah. You could put our Hot Pockets in the microwave. That'd be
Hot
fine.
Pockets.
We have an oven. We have an oven.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we do that then, or have we already approved something else?
and I'll reach out to you on,
Gotta make sure the 24th is the day we want.
The Monday.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that as well.
Okay, so we're just doing 8 to 5 with lunch to be determined.
I think we
You have
just
to have
did
2
a
meetings,
start, and then you go till,
noon.
yeah,
And-
when you want to break, and then you convene again at 1 o'clock, and then,
Okay,
so that's up
But
to
just
you.
kind of because how they have the schedule or whatever, they have the people scheduled in. So it's like if we
Mhm.
can, if you know that it's gonna be like an 8-hour block, then at least we can say, okay, yeah, we do have an hour and a half or like an hour for this person.
there would be a hard stop time possibly, because plan commission is scheduled at 5:30 that day in this room, so.
okay.
Could we make it 8:15? Will that be a big?
Sure.
Is that okay? Just so I can get the kids to school and stuff on that.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Actually, I forgot Isabel's their license.
8:15 to 5.
Fine with me.
Yep.
All right, good.
With possible lunch break.
Yeah.
Do we have to have a motion for that to set that, for the public hearing date?
It's really not a public hearing, it's a public meeting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a motion to establish that as a public meeting date.
Okay.
It does have to be open to the public since the majority of the council is present. If anybody wants to sit and listen.
We'll send out invitations.
Uh,
Thinking by lunch.
I'll say, I'll make a motion to, I'll make a motion to set the budget review date for August 21st at
24th.
24th.
24th at 8:15 a.m. starting time.
I'll second
I'll second that.
Jeff will do it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Kissling?
Aye.
Bounds?
Aye.
McFerrin?
Aye.
Bolte?
Aye.
Ware?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Meeting date's been set. Thank you. Anything else, Amy?
No.
Any citizens items?
Hi, Janet Schnell. A couple things. One is this weekend, the Huntingburg Little League's going to be having a tournament, and Alassi's in charge of the concession stands. We need help. So if you would consider going to alassiindiana.com website, look up the information, phone number, email, and consider helping us sign up to run concessions for a smooth Huntingburg friendly event. The other thing are two questions. Back to hoarding. Next door neighbors have the shed that we had talked about that's in disrepair. We've now found skunks that have been housing inside the shed. And so who is responsible for the disposal of said skunk to pay for it? Because I'm not touching it. And then the other thing is the quilts that are inside trash bags that are in there that are now the housing of the skunk. Is that considered trash? Or what is that even considered when it comes to the hoarding ordinance? When are things in trash bags considered trash and not?
But trash is kind of like, it's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, if they intend to keep it, if it's personal property that they intend to keep, it's not trash. If it's something they intend to discard and they don't want, then it's trash and it needs to be disposed of in accordance with our ordinance. As far as ridding a property of vermin and rodents, it's the property owner's responsibility to do that. I understand that Mr. Heim has been working with them on this. I haven't been in contact with Don directly on it, but
And he has, and he gave them last week because of the heat. You don't need to work on it this week, but it hasn't been touched this week either, when the temperatures have cooled down. And that's when we now have seen the skunk. Just wandering around. And last year we paid for it all. We got rid of skunks, possums, raccoons, everything. And now we actually have on camera it coming from that property. And so I don't feel like we should be penalized yet again to get rid of a skunk. Because again, I'm not going to touch it, but the shed is so rotten that the material they're putting on there cannot stay secure. So if you put screws or nails in there, it just falls away. There's a piece of metal that's not the kind of metal you're supposed to put on it because there's a buckle that comes out, and that's where it went in and pushed out that area even more to be able to house. But yes, Mr. Heim has been working with them to address it too. But that was my question because I don't think it's included with the ordinance. In my opinion, how can you have quilts that are the smell of the skunk is embedded in within those quilts? How can that not be trash?
yeah, I mean,
That's,
Getting into a gray area there, sort of.
Are these trash bags in the building at the moment? Okay. Just like I don't think blue tarp should be an acceptable means of covering things up. We should not allow that as roofing material. We should not allow it to cover up, shouldn't be allowed on fences. It shouldn't be allowed, at least not in a permanent way, to cover up things on somebody's porch, just like trash bags should not be used to cover up valuable items. You know, if it's in a building, I think they can do that they should be able to do what they want to, but if it's seen by others, trash bags are not an acceptable storage means. You know, if it's visible to the neighbors or to people driving by. So I think I don't know if you're asking, but I personally feel like we should specify in our ordinances that no, you can't put valuable things in a trash bag and leave it on your front porch and expect that we're not going to call it trash. You know, that
That's what I'm
I don't,
asking.
I personally don't care what's in the bag. If it's in a trash bag on your front porch, it appears to be trash. And that shouldn't be allowed.
And that plastic disintegrates and then blows through the air and onto everybody else's property because it's not, yes, that's what I was asking for.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to me. I don't know what it takes to, I mean, I hear that we're working on redoing the UDO.
This wouldn't be UDO, this would be just our nuisance and property maintenance code.
You have to just revamp that and to include, expand the language.
Yeah, give it some thought as to how expansive that's gonna be. I mean, you got people all over town that store firewood under blue tarps or whatever color tarps. So bicycles, motorcycles, this, that, and another, all their,
Very careful.
you know, it depends upon how much you want to encumber your code enforcement officer and how much you want to, I guess, maybe raise the ire of some of your citizens. But people are going to disagree with that. I don't disagree with your position, but there are a lot of people that will disagree that I'm not allowed to keep waterproof my firewood or this or that or another with a tarp. I don't know. I think needs to be given some serious thought before you just jump into that.
Yeah, I expect that it will be. I just think it needs to be done.
We talked about at the last meeting, some of us maybe possibly going around and identifying the certain spots for Mr. Hyman.
The building's easy because it should be constructed of using standard construction materials that are designed for the outside, and that includes the type of, I mean, you can even go down to the type of screws and wood and everything else. So that's an easy one. The tarps are a tough one, you know, when you get in, because there's a brown tarp, or now that we do canvas, you know.
I guess I was thinking more about expanding like the sheds with the roofs that are falling in. That,
If the shed is dilapidated, and this is gonna have to be a call that the code enforcement officer makes, but if the shed is dilapidated beyond repair, then it is an unsafe property, and it can be, the Board of Public Works can authorize an order to demolish and remove the shed. It hasn't come to the Board of Public Works in that format yet. It very well might. I don't know.
And a blue tarp is not roofing material either, so there could be something said for that.
There might be cases of a storm comes through where a blue tarp is a temporary repair. So you gotta take that into consideration. It can't be a 2-year repair.
I was using blue tarp as an example, more than anything. I'm not sure how I feel about that. When you put it that way, okay, we'll accept a brown tarp, but not a blue tarp. You know, I don't know what other communities are doing, but my point is that if the building is dilapidated, they should not be able to just staple a blue tarp over the top and call it good, right? It needs to be.
I think our ordinance would support that. It has to be watertight. The building has to be watertight, weathertight, and not dilapidated, in good repair. Now, of course, we've got a lot of outbuildings around the town. You can drive around, I bet you can find 50 of them without looking very hard that are dilapidated, probably holes in the roof and not weather tight. That's not a defense. I mean, they should be removed or maintained. But it's a big job.
that's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Janet.
And council, oh, sorry.
Nothing for me. No, she's
Aye.
gone.
Aye.
Hi, JC Lamb. Mr. Bounds, you brought up the UDO, and I was just wondering if there is an update on on that and what's going on with the solar BESS data center situation?
Right now, I mean, we did update the UDO to make those special exceptions already back in April, I believe it was.
That would
So
be
it
in our
was updated.
in our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And that included this data centers?
What's that?
That included the data centers?
No, it does not. But data centers would still fall under, it would require exception because we don't allow, there's nothing within our zoning that allows for data centers.
Special use?
It would have to go before the Board of Zoning Appeals for a special use exception because it's not a use that's identified now in our UDO, so it has to go before the Board of Zoning Appeals. That may not be a permanent solution, and I've encouraged Paul to think about looking what other communities are doing and finding out what other communities are doing as far as regulating data centers, and having some development standards for them. And I'm not sure where he is on that, but it is on his agenda.
We do have, yeah, we've been reviewing what's happening in other counties because data centers weren't even defined 6 months ago. You know, in the state of Indiana, there was no legal definition for a data center. And likewise, that's why it's not even listed as an allowable use under our UDO. So we've looked at several right now. We'll get together. Actually, we got a new plan commission member, but we're going to reassemble with the plan commission and we'll do some public hearings on what should be included in that UDO regarding that. Look at some of the best you got to give them options. We can't just say, what do you think, you know, in a meeting. So there's several out there. Some I don't like. Some of them, some counties, just about every county is allowing them, but they're under certain restrictions, 55 decibels, can't use so much water. You know, they talk about utility usage, 500-foot setbacks. There's all kinds of things that are in those that make them almost impossible to build. And I think Spencer County has a similar one. There's other counties across the state to look at those. We've read through just as many as we could. I sent little bit of information today for Phil to get his feedback on that. But as of right now, without going through the BZA, there's no way that a data center can be built. Not to worry about that coming right now because they're going after the 600-acre parcels. We don't have 600 acres in our jurisdictional territory or even 400. That's not in a floodplain. It doesn't exist. So.
Well, and an important item to note on that too is that if it would come before the BZA, any of the like adjacent landowners would also be informed before the meeting. So and it would be a public meeting. So.
Yeah, I've taken the stance and I've told Paul the same thing today, that if we're ever in contact with anybody that wants a data center, I would pretty much do a cease and desist saying, I will not accept your emails. I won't accept your phone calls. If they want to propose a data center, they're going to do it in a public meeting. And the public's going to decide whether they want it or not. It shouldn't be us behind doors somewhere. I just don't believe that we should have any conversations with anybody wanting to put in a data center.
So what Phil had said earlier about it might not be a good permanent solution, but you know, we are considering some things. Because there is a lot of public interest in that topic right now for a lot of obvious reasons. Is it possible for us to just pick a day sometime in a future meeting? Doesn't have to be next meeting, but maybe in 6 weeks where Paul would have time to do his research, have him come and talk to us about options that he has gathered research on. The public would know that conversation was going to be happening on that particular day, with plenty of notice so that people can make suggestions and ask questions and maybe get some movement on it.
We were really considering that for a plan commission meeting though, because they're the ones going to make the recommendation to the council on the changes. That's where the hearings start, with changes to the UDO. So if we begin there as the public hearing portion, and those will be public hearings, and there'll be more than one.
When do the plan commission,
Well, next one's August, would be August 24th, actually.
There's a new one. I think there's one in July.
Yeah, there's one here in the end of July.
27,
There-
July
there-
27.
It will
Always the
not be,
last
it will
Monday in
not be
July.
ready by then. I can
Yeah,
tell you.
last
Yeah.
Monday of July.
Or always the last Monday of the month.
So we're looking at August and
fourth.
then we do a follow-up in September to make a recommendation, but there's also some other studies going on of our UDO by another private company that, looking at, making other recommendations and changes to our UDO. So be nice to get all those done by the end of the year. We are required by statute now to review those anyway. From a development standpoint, we're supposed to review, what can we do to be more developer friendly? It was actually written by a state legislator who happens to be a realtor and a builder, so that's why that came about. But it is a good thing to look at anyway. I can guarantee you this, there have been no talks. We had somebody call a couple years ago, we told them, they called our utility department and wanted to know if they could handle the utilities. We said no, and we haven't heard back, so it was a 30-second phone call. I've talked to nobody.
Do those decisions, they start, I know where you said where they start, but do they eventually come to the council for final approval?
Yeah, anytime,
And we-
any amendment would be require an ordinance.
So then
So,
we'd be,
so as you recall, there's two ways to initiate a change of UDO. Either the council could initiate it and instruct the plan commission to hold hearings on it, a public hearing on it, or the plan commission can initiate itself. Typically, it's initiated by the plan commission, but if the plan commission isn't acting or isn't, and you don't feel like it's acting, then you can initiate it on your own and they would be required to hold a public hearing and then make a recommendation back to you. But ultimately, it comes back to the council.
so we would be
Again,
able to.
I just think that we ought to give Paul a chance to get his legs into this and discuss with the plan commission. And of course, you'd be invited to attend a plan commission meeting where it's considered and see where it goes.
Yeah.
See what recommendations are made and what the language looks like and all that.
No, I agree. So when do
I'll
the plan
send you some
commission meetings happen?
examples too. I'll send you some examples.
That'd be helpful. What time of the day are the plan commission meetings?
5:15 or 5:30 of fourth Monday
5:30.
of the month.
Fourth Monday, okay.
5:30 on the fourth Monday.
And if somebody from the public wanted to know what was on the agenda for that meeting, is that,
Actually, it's 5:15. I'm sorry.
Is it?
Yeah, I
No?
think so.
Oh,
Is it
gosh.
5:30?
The calendar has 5:30.
Okay, it's
5:30.
5:30.
One of them is 5:15. I think
Yeah.
that's the RDC.
The RDC is 5:15. I apologize.
Those agendas are public. I'm not sure if we're posting them on our webpage or not, but they're public.
I
make a recommendation when we talk about,
Commitment to be made to have this discussion to the public. It's going to be after the 24th, after the plan commission has gotten together. Or you're saying within 6 weeks, there could be something discussed with the public.
That would be,
Or-
a goal, definite goal to have that done.
for the August meeting?
Thank you.
There's our budget.
All right, thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
after
you.
the budget meeting. Yeah, I know there's a mayor I talked to in northern Indiana. I liked his approach, and that was kind of got attorneys involved as soon as they got an email and they got a call, and that was, we don't sign any non-disclosure agreements. Don't accept any emails or phone calls from anybody inquiring. If they want to, if they're interested, then basically what they did, they went to all the Kiwanis meetings and the Optimus meetings, and they held their own public meetings. And then the council got involved after that. But it's, I'm not a fan of either, so, but,
Yeah.
things are a little different in technology now than it used to be. But we've been using AI and stuff we've been doing today has gone through those data centers as we're sitting here, so.
I think people are just concerned about these huge corporations finding loopholes, finding ways to sneak things in, slick things over.
Yeah,
And I think we're just what I'm hearing from the public is that we think we should have a concrete ordinance specifically addressing it as opposed to the current arrangement where we simply would have to grant an exception.
Yeah, and when you, to grant an exception to if you were, I don't believe we should, but if you were, you do have to give the BZA items that they should consider that would be within that ordinance. If it uses too much water, if it's within 500 feet of an adjoining property, emits more than 55 decibels, which is less than a car horn, sound. You can put those types of things that they consider and they can pull it out as a result of that. So there's enough people, Shelbyville, like I said, Hobart, Hammond, there's enough communities right now that are begging for them. That they're not gonna, they don't wanna fight us, so, there's people, I went to a meeting where you could talk about how you recruit them. There were elected officials all over the state there. I sat in the back, shook my head, like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
So it's, they've got a lot of money. And they can influence a council, they can influence a school system. Shelbyville, they gave $65 million to the school corporation.
I think there's one going in Owensboro, same scenario.
The school corporation was going broke.
Yeah.
So they gave them 65 million. Everybody said, well, that fixes that problem, and goes on. So.
Would be pretty enticing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if you didn't have to live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't even want to go there,
Okay.
so. Personal opinion, I think we're all in agreement on that anyway.
Well, in addition to Mr. Bounce's comment, I think, we're always kind of want to be ahead of the game instead of being behind the game and catching up to it. But on the data center hearings, we probably need a bigger building to do those hearings in, I guess, for those informational instead of the city office.
Well, there used to be one in the basement of the building across the street from us.
Yeah.
3 years ago. They
Hmm.
left in the still of the night with all kinds of, they had basically with dryer vents hanging out all the windows of the building to cool it down. So.
All right.
Illustrates the need for some kind of ordinance then,
Mhm.
some kind of restriction if they're already putting them in and not telling anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you
All right.
both for
Anything else?
your
Thank you for
comments,
bringing that up.
questions.
Anything else? Council?
I'd like to thank, city and all the people for the, representation of the road.
He was a good man.
Yeah, he was.
Meant a lot to
Absolutely.
Huntingburg.
Beloved by many,
Yeah.
especially.
Absolutely.
It's really a blessing to leave a legacy like that.
A lot of kids though, isn't it?
I was one about, yeah.
Santa.
Yeah.
All right.
I did have one thing too.
Okay.
I had, on Van Buren Street being shut down with the, where the road
North.
closure is. I spoke with Jerry last week and he said that they had run into a vault that was not on any map and that kind of set them back a week and a half. So really been following up, trying to get that Van Buren opened up, and he said he's working as hard as he
Been
can.
weird.
So I believe that and I appreciate it, but I think that the rain had kind of slowed them down, but then also this, the vault, he said, they had to lay an extra 100 feet of pipe that they weren't planning on, and it was a much bigger tap than, they were expecting. I don't really know what a vault is, but in my mind, I was like, okay.
We had a similar thing at 13th Street there, east of
like Ebbs Court
231.
Maybe.
Where there was a vault there that when that was a state highway down through there at one time. And they just, vault is basically where the water was running, capture the water that came out of there. And the water was running backwards in that vault, and the state has been notified. They've made some grade changes and kind of fix it, but yeah, you find some of those things.
Yeah, you never
Wow,
know.
that's low. Yeah, we could spend all day with pictures, looking at the funny stuff we find underground that was there. I mean, we've had lines that are 4-inch lines that go to 6-inch over to A deck 4, all in the same block, and funny stuff in the middle of the block where it's all 8-inch lines till you get to the center, then they're 6-inch. Wonder why they're choking down. So then we tear up a whole intersection and then find out that it's running too close to a gas line and stormwater. We've had stormwaters they used to do these stormwater drains, they'd set them on top of the gas line. That type of thing. So you get into a lot more sometimes in these intersections you ever wanted to get into.
That's right by the railroad tracks and everything else. It's really old.
I'm really feeling excited though that he's getting to the end of the tunnel.
I am
Like
too.
there's light at the end of the tunnel and I just think, oh my gosh, my commute's gonna be 1 minute quicker. So. Not that I haven't enjoyed driving through the neighborhood.
Yeah,
but
people are
yeah.
saying, oh, they're tearing up another street. And I said, well, we'll just let the water boil to the top and push it through, I guess.
Well, and it's like, it really is an inconvenience and a bummer for everybody when the streets are shut down, but it's way more of a bummer when there's a water main break and it's your house and you're stuck with no water. So I do appreciate all of our utilities being really proactive in everything that they're doing to try to, and I think that area has been a problem for a while. I mean, it seems like they were working
They've
on that a
never-
lot.
Don't
so,
break in the middle of the day when it's 72 degrees out there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think he
never-
did say that too, where they were,
It's either 10 degrees or it's, 90.
he said that they were
of the
ready to
night.
really get going the one day and there was another water main break somewhere else that they had to pack up and go to that, so.
Yeah, he got pulled off on 2 different breaks.
Mhm.
And we had 2 people on vacation too, so it didn't make it any
Well,
better.
that's up, all right.
If you guys have extra lemonade, go ahead and swing
right.
by, keep them hydrated, keep them like.
All right. All right, thank you, Pam, for that. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
5 ayes.
It's 32 PM. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
I'll keep the
Slow
tabs on
today,
that
huh?
Van Buren Street itself.
Do you?
Yeah, about every day. Is that thing ever gonna open?
Every time I come up over the hill, I get excited and then it's like, oh,